The space station hung like a jewel against the darkness. It was huge, with curved arms that spread out from a central hub. Thousands of lights glowed along its surface. This was Centralist Station, home of the Galactic Council. John Miller adjusted his tie and took a deep breath. Today was the day humanity would join the galactic community. After decades of watching the stars, humans had finally developed the technology to travel between them. And now they had been invited to meet the 17 alien species who ruled this part of the galaxy. Ready? Asked Lisa Ward. She stood beside him, her dark hair pulled back tightly. As head of security for the human delegation, she looked calm, but John knew she was alert to every movement around them. As ready as I'll ever be, John replied with a smile. He was a diplomat, chosen for this mission because of his friendly nature and ability to stay calm under pressure. The doors slid open. John led the small group of humans into the council chamber. The room was massive, with a high ceiling that showed the stars above through a clear dome. 17 different alien representatives sat in a semicircle. They looked strange to human. Eyes, some had too many limbs, others had skin that changed colors, and a few didn't look like any life form John had ever imagined. The human delegation from Earth, announced a tall, thin alien with blue skin. Welcome to Centralist Station and the Galactic Council. John stepped forward. On behalf of Earth and all humans, we thank you for this welcome. We look forward to peaceful cooperation and friendship with all species of the galaxy. The aliens murmured among themselves. John could feel them watching, studying. It made the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. One alien stepped forward. It had 4 arms, and eyes that seemed to see in all directions at once. I am Ambassador Krall Thex of the Vosian Empire, it said in a voice that sounded like metal on stone. We have studied your species from afar. You are interesting. Interesting? John asked. He kept his smile in place. Yes, your biology tells. Use much. Forward-facing eyes, like hunters. Teeth made for tearing flesh. Bodies built for chasing prey over long distances. The alien tilted its head. Yet you speak of peace. Another alien joined them. This one looked almost like a tall insect, with delicate wings folded against its back. I am Zillanara of the Felbian Collective. Please forgive my colleague's directness. What Ambassador Krall Thex means is that many species evolve beyond their origins. Clearly, humans have moved past their predatory beginnings to build a civilization. John nodded. We have a complex history. But yes, we value peace and cooperation above all. The blue-skinned alien who had announced them spoke again. I am High Counselor Dexra. We have prepared living quarters for your delegation. You will have time to rest before the formal ceremonies tomorrow. As the humans were led away, John noticed one alien watching them with compound eyes that didn't blink. Something about its gaze made him uncomfortable. Over the next few weeks, the human delegation worked hard to establish their place in galactic society. They set up an embassy on Centralist Station. They signed trade agreements. They shared human art, music, and literature with curious aliens. In return, they learned about technology, medicine, and science beyond anything Earth had developed. Alan Rodriguez, the delegation's science officer, spent his days in the station's massive library, absorbing knowledge like a sponge. John, you wouldn't believe what these species have accomplished, he said during one of their daily meetings. They've eliminated disease, mastered energy production, even found ways to extend lifespans by hundreds of years. And yet they still have pirates and outlaws at the edges of their territory, Lisa pointed out. I've been studying their security reports. The Council maintains peace, but it's not perfect. John nodded. No system is. But we have a chance to be part of something amazing here. The humans quickly gained a reputation for being adaptable and friendly. Many of the alien representatives seemed to enjoy their company. But not all. One evening, after most of the station's lights had dimmed for the night cycle, John was walking back to the human quarters when he heard voices around a corner. He stopped, not wanting to interrupt what sounded like a private conversation. "I tell you, there is something wrong with these humans," said a chittering voice that John recognized as belonging to the Drellari ambassador, the one with the compound. "Eyes. Your concerns are noted, Ambassador T.K., but I see no evidence to support them," replied another voice. "My eyes see what others miss. When they think no one watches, their friendly expressions vanish. Their eyes track movement like hunters. Their bodies tense at sudden sounds. They are performing for us. Many species are cautious in new environments. This is different. I have studied predator species. These humans show all the signs. They are not what they appear to be." "What motive would they have to deceive us?" the second voice asked. "I do not know, but predators are clever. They know how to hide their intentions until it is too late for their prey." John backed away quietly. He returned to the human quarters by another route. He said nothing to the others about what he had heard. But that night, he sent a private message to Earth requesting guidance. 3 days later, he received a reply. "Continue as planned. Maintain peaceful posture. Priority remains integration with galactic community." John deleted the message and went to breakfast with a smile on his face. He chatted with alien representatives, told jokes, and spoke warmly about future cooperation. No one would have guessed that anything troubled him. But later, alone in his quarters, he stood before the mirror and watched his smile fade. His eyes hardened. For just a moment, he allowed himself to look like what he truly was, a member of a species that had clawed its way to dominance on a hostile world, that had hunted and killed and survived against all odds. Then he put his diplomat's face back on. "Playing at peace," he murmured to himself. The next day, news arrived that would change everything. A mining colony at Proxima Centauri had gone silent. The Council was sending investigators, and humanity's true nature would soon be revealed to the stars. 6 months had passed since humans joined the Galactic Council. The news about Proxima Colony spread quickly through Centralis Station. All communication with the mining outpost had stopped 3 days ago. The Council voted to send an investigation. "Team, we must include a human representative," said High Counselor Dex Ra during the emergency meeting. "The colony is in their home system." Some aliens shifted uncomfortably at this suggestion. The Drellari ambassador's compound eyes reflected the room's light. "Is that wise? If there is danger, ... "We insist," John Miller said firmly. His friendly smile was still there, but something in his voice made several aliens lean back in their seats. "Captain Susan Cooper of the Earth Defense Force will join the mission. Her ship, the ESS Defender, can transport the investigation team." The Council had no choice but to agree. The human vessel was the closest to Centralis Station that could reach Proxima quickly. 2 days later, the investigation team boarded the ESS Defender. The ship was larger than the aliens expected. Captain Susan Cooper greeted them in the docking bay. She was tall with short brown hair and eyes that missed nothing. "Welcome aboard," she said. "These are my officers. We'll reach Proxima in 36 hours. Shintala, the Athosian representative, studied the human vessel as they walked. "Your ship seems very heavily armed for a peaceful species." Captain Cooper's face remained neutral. "Standard equipment for exploration in unknown territory." The Athosian didn't look convinced. The Council had sent 3 alien representatives. Shintala from Athos, a reptilian species known for their analytical minds. Zorkith from the Mantodian cluster, tall and thin with 4 arms. and Kalara of the Solari, whose skin glowed with a soft light. John Miller also joined the mission as a diplomatic observer. He spent most of the journey talking with the aliens, keeping them comfortable. Meanwhile, Captain Cooper stayed on the bridge, rarely speaking except to give orders to her crew. When they reached Proxima, sensors showed no power signatures from the colony. No ships in orbit, no response to communication attempts. "We're picking up structural damage," reported the human at the sensor station. "The colony has been attacked." The Defender entered orbit. Captain Cooper assembled a team to go to the surface. When the alien representatives prepared to join them, Cooper frowned. "I recommend you stay aboard. We don't know what's down there." "The Council protocol requires us to observe firsthand," Shintala insisted. Cooper nodded stiffly. "Stay behind. My security team at all times." The landing shuttles touched down near the colony's main entrance. The human Marines exited first, weapons ready. They moved differently now, quick, quiet, alert. The aliens noticed the change immediately. "They seem different," whispered Kalara to Zorkith. "More like their true selves," Zorkith replied. Quietly, the colony was in ruins. Buildings had been burned, equipment destroyed. In the main hall, they found the first bodies. "Krell raiders," said Shintala, examining marks on the walls. "See these claw patterns? The Krell are pirates from the outer systems. They attack isolated outposts sometimes." Kalara's glow dimmed with sadness. "How terrible. The Council has maintained peace for centuries. These savages must be brought to justice." Throughout this conversation, Captain Cooper had been walking slowly around the room. She knelt and touched the floor, rubbed something between her fingers, and sniffed it. The aliens watched this strange behavior with confusion. "The attack was 18 hours ago," Cooper said suddenly. "How could you possibly know that?" Asked ZO our single quotes KETH. Cooper didn't answer. Instead, she said, "There are survivors." The aliens looked around the empty, destroyed room. "How can you tell?" Asked Kalara. "Blood trails, footprints, signs of people being dragged." Cooper pointed to marks on the floor the aliens hadn't noticed. Some colonists were taken into the maintenance tunnels below the colony. She turned to her security team. "Adams Garcia with me. We're going after them." "Wait." Shintala raised all 4 hands. "Protocol says we should wait for Council reinforcements before pursuing hostiles. It's too dangerous." Cooper looked at the alien with cold eyes. "Those are my people down there. We don't leave our people behind." Without waiting for a response, Cooper and her team headed toward a broken door that led to the lower levels. John Miller stayed with the alien representatives. "I apologize for Captain Cooper's directness," he said smoothly. "Humans feel strongly about protecting our own." Zorkith's antennae twitched. She ignored Council protocol. "Different species have different priorities," Miller replied with a small smile. 4 hours passed. The aliens grew increasingly nervous as they waded in. The colony's damaged control center. They jumped when the communication system crackled to life. "This is Cooper. We found survivors. 3 colonists alive. And we captured one of the raiders." When Cooper's team returned, they carried 3 injured humans. Behind them, 2 Marines dragged a struggling alien creature. It had gray skin, sharp teeth, and eyes that glowed red in the dim light. This was a Krell, one of the galaxy's few remaining predatory species that rejected Council membership. The captured raider was locked in a secure room. Captain Cooper insisted on questioning it immediately, despite the aliens' protests that Council procedure required prisoners to be returned to Central Station. "You may observe," was all Cooper said before entering the room with the Krell. The interrogation was unlike anything the Council representatives had seen before. Cooper didn't threaten or harm the prisoner. She simply sat across from it, her posture relaxed, but her eyes never leaving the Krell's face. "Why did you attack this colony?" she asked. The Krell snarled. "Krell take what Krell want." "No," Cooper said quietly. "You were hired to attack this specific colony. By who?" The Krell's eyes widened slightly. "How you know this?" "Your attack pattern was too precise. You targeted communication systems first, then power. That's not random raiding. That's a planned strike. Who hired you?" For an hour, Cooper questioned the prisoner. Her voice never rose, but her intensity never lessened. Eventually, the Krell broke. Not know who. Message come through dark channels. Payment good. Attack colony. Make look like raid. Destroy all evidence. Evidence of what? Cooper pressed. The Krell showed its teeth. Not know. Not care. The next morning, the Krell was found dead in its cell. It had used a hidden claw to cut its own throat. The alien representatives were horrified. "This is unprecedented," Shintala said. "We must return to Centralist Station immediately and report this." "Tragedy." "Not yet," Captain Cooper replied. Her face showed no shock at the prisoner's death. "We need to track the raiders to their base first." "Why?" asked Kelara. "We should focus on helping the survivors." Cooper's eyes had a dangerous gleam now. "Because someone hired those raiders to attack my people, and I want to know who. More importantly, I want to send a message." "What message?" Zorkith asked nervously. John Miller answered, his diplomat smile gone, replaced by something older and more primal. That humans protect what's theirs, and that there are consequences for those who harm us. The aliens looked at each other with new understanding and growing fear. The humans they had welcomed into the galaxy were not what they had seemed, and the galaxy was about to learn exactly what that meant. The S-Defender moved silently through space. Captain Susan Cooper stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the main screen. Behind her, the 3 alien representatives from the Council watched nervously. "You cannot do this," said Shintala for the 5th time. "Council protocol clearly states that after discovering an attack, we must return to Centralist Station to report and plan a response." Cooper didn't even turn around. "We tracked the Krell ship's energy trail. Their base is in the Oort cloud of this star system. We're going there now." "This is not a Council-approved mission," insisted Zorkith, all 4 arms gesturing in frustration. This time Cooper did turn. Her eyes were cold. "No, it's not. It's a human response to an attack on humans." Peter Martinez, the Council liaison who had joined them from Centralis, moved closer to the alien representatives. He had watched in growing concern as the friendly, diplomatic humans had changed over the past 2 days. They spoke less. They moved differently. Even their faces seemed altered somehow. "Captain," Martinez said carefully, "perhaps we should consider the aliens' concerns. The Council has procedures. The Council has procedures that take weeks." Cooper cut him off. "By then, the Krell will be gone. Whoever hired them will never be found. Is that justice?" Martinez had no answer. He looked at John Miller, hoping the diplomat would help. But Miller stood quietly at the captain's side, his usual friendly smile nowhere to be seen. "We'll reach the Krell base in 2 hours," said the navigation officer. Cooper nodded. "Prepare the assault team." The aliens watched in shock as the humans prepared for battle. The friendly diplomats and scientists were gone. In their place were efficient, focused warriors. They checked weapons, studied maps, and spoke in short, precise sentences. Martinez pulled Miller aside. "What is happening? These aren't the same humans who came to Centralist Station." Miller looked at him calmly. "They are exactly the same humans. You're just seeing a different side of us now." "You deceived the Council," Martinez accused. "Humans." presented themselves as peaceful explorers and diplomats. "We are peaceful," Miller replied. "When peace is an option, the galaxy doesn't understand what humanity truly is. We're not herbivores who learn to use tools. We're apex predators who chose restraint." The defenders slowed as they approached the Krell base. It was hidden inside a large asteroid, with small ships docked around it. "Life signs?" Cooper asked. "Approximately 40 Krell on the base," replied a sensor officer. 6 more on the docked ships. Cooper turned to her security chief. "Disable their ships first. Then we board the base. I want prisoners." The alien representatives watched the screens in horror as the human vessel quickly destroyed the engines of all Krill ships. There was no warning, no demand for surrender, just swift, efficient violence. "This is not how civilized species behave," whispered Kalara, her skin glow dimming in distress. Martinez was beginning to understand. They're not trying to be civilized. They're hunting. The assault team prepared to board the Krell base. To everyone's surprise, Cooper invited the aliens to observe from a safe distance. "You should see this," she said. "You should understand what you invited into your council." The boarding team moved through the Krell base like shadows. They didn't charge and shouting like heroes in stories. They moved quietly, carefully, taking down Krell pirates one by one. They coordinated without speaking, using hand signals and moving with a deadly grace that the watching aliens found beautiful in terrifying dot within 20 minutes. The base was secure. 5 Krell leaders were captured and brought to the defenders' holding cells. Cooper questioned them personally. Unlike the interrogation at the colony, this time she made no effort to hide her nature. She paced like a predator, her voice low and dangerous. "Who hired you to attack Proxima Colony?" she demanded. The Krell leader, larger and more scarred than the others, snarled defiance. "Krell fear nothing. Krell tell nothing." Cooper didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. "You misunderstand. I'm not asking for information to punish you. I already know I'm going to destroy your entire operation. What I want is the name of who hired you, so I can destroy them too." Something in her tone made the Krell leader's defiance waver. Why should Krell believe human threats? Council species are weak. They talk of peace and rules. Cooper smiled. It was not a friendly expression. The Council species are not hunters. We are. Look into my eyes. Do you see the difference now? The Krell leader did look. For a long moment, Predator stared at Predator. Then the Krell's shoulders slumped. "Vexler Corporation," he said. "They pay Krell to attack Colony." Say Colony. Found something in mines. Something that would hurt their business. Cooper nodded. "Thank you for your cooperation." As the human assault team placed charges to destroy the empty Krell base, Martinez confronted Miller again. "You've hidden your true nature from the Council," he said. "Humans are warriors, predators." Miller shook his head. "We never hid it. We simply showed you the parts of ourselves we thought you were ready to see. We are scholars, artists, explorers, and diplomats. We are also survivors, warriors, and hunters." "But the Council trusted you," Martinez insisted. "And we haven't betrayed that trust," Miller replied. "We want peace. We prefer peace. But we will protect our people. Always." The aliens watched as the Krell base exploded. Captain Cooper gathered the Krell leaders in the Defender's cargo bay. Instead of killing them, she gave them a small ship with limited fuel. "Go," she told them. "Tell everyone what happened here. Tell them what humans do to those who harm our people. Tell them we prefer peace, but we are very, very good at war." As the small ship departed, Shintala approached Cooper. "I don't understand. You let them go?" "They're messengers now," Cooper explained. "They'll spread the word about what happens when someone attacks humans. It's more effective than killing them." The Athosian considered this. You think like predators, but you also think like ... protectors. Cooper nodded. That's what predators do when they're civilized. They protect what's theirs. As the Defender set course back to Centralist Station, the three council representatives talked quietly among themselves. They had seen something few in the galaxy understood. Humans weren't just another peaceful species joining the galactic community. They were something else entirely. The council needs to know, said Kalara. They need to understand what humans truly are. Yes, agreed Zorkith, but I'm not sure they will believe us. Shintala looked across the bridge at the humans, now calm and professional again, almost like the diplomats they had first met. They will believe, the Athosian said quietly, and then everything will change. News of what happened at the Krell base spread quickly through Centralist Station. The council called an emergency meeting. The great chamber was filled with representatives from all 17 species. The mood was tense. John Miller stood calmly before them. Captain Susan Cooper stood beside him, her face showing no emotion. Behind them, the three council representatives who had witnessed the events told their story. The humans attacked without council approval, said Shintala. They destroyed the Krell base and captured their leaders. Murmurs filled the chamber. Some sounded angry, others fearful. Is this true? Asked High Counselor Dexra, looking at Miller. Yes, Miller replied simply. We tracked those who attacked our colony. We dealt with them, and we discovered who hired them. You broke council law, said the Vosian ambassador, Ambassador Krall-Thex. All military actions must be approved by vote. While your people were preparing to vote, Cooper said, stepping forward, the Krell would have escaped. The evidence would have been lost. Those responsible would never have faced justice. That is not for you to decide, shouted another representative. The council has maintained peace for centuries by following proper procedures. Miller raised a hand. The room fell silent, not because he asked for silence, but because of the authority in the gesture. The aliens were starting to see him differently now. We have evidence that Vexler Corporation hired the Krell to attack our colony, Miller said. They wanted to destroy something our miners found, something that would hurt their business interests. The Drellari ambassador clicked its mandibles. What evidence? The confession of the Krell leader, Cooper answered, and data from their communication systems. Confessions under duress are not acceptable evidence, the Drellari countered. Cooper's eyes narrowed. We did not torture anyone. We didn't need to. The Drellari ambassador stared at her with its compound eyes. No, you simply showed them what you are. And they recognized a greater predator. The chamber fell silent again. This time, the silence was heavy with new understanding. High Counselor Dexra spoke carefully. If what you say about Vexler Corporation is true, we will investigate through proper channels, but this does not excuse your actions. The human delegation presented themselves as peaceful when they joined us. Now we see this was deception. Miller shook his head. Not deception. We are peaceful, but we are also protective. Every species has depths they don't show at first meeting. Not like this, said Ambassador Krall-Thex. You presented one face while hiding another completely. We showed you what we thought you could understand, Miller replied. The galaxy fears predator species because they've rarely encountered ones who chose restraint. You see predation only as destructive, never protective. Peter Martinez stepped forward. He had been thinking deeply since witnessing the humans in action. The council should consider what this means. Humans want peace. They build, create, explore. But they also fight when necessary. They don't need your permission to defend themselves. The council members looked at each other. This was not how things worked in their system. Species followed the rules. They respected authority. They did not act independently. What guarantee do we have that humans will remain? Restrained? Asked the Vosgian representative. Miller smiled, a gesture the Council, now recognized as a vestigial display of teeth from humanity's evolutionary past. The same guarantee we've always had among ourselves. Mutual respect and understanding of consequences. The debate continued for hours. Some representatives called for humanity to be expelled from the Council. Others pointed out that the humans had actually solved the problem of the Krell Raiders, something the Council had failed to do for years. As the formal session ended, smaller groups formed to continue discussions. Miller noticed something interesting. Representatives from smaller, weaker worlds were approaching the human delegation privately. "My people have suffered Krell attacks for generations," said the representative from a small mining world. The Council sends strongly worded messages. The Krell ignore them. But now, for the first time, the Krell are afraid. They are staying away from our borders. Another representative from a world of gentle herbivores spoke quietly to Cooper. "We cannot defend ourselves as you can. Our biology does not allow it, but perhaps we could form a separate agreement with Earth for protection." Miller watched as more and more of the smaller species approached them. They had seen what humans could do to those who violated peace, and they wanted that protective ferocity aligned with their interests. Later, in the human embassy, Miller met with Cooper and the other human leaders. "The Council is divided," he said. "Some want us gone. Some want our protection. All of them fear us now." "Fear isn't what we wanted," said Alan Rodriguez, the science officer. "We came here to learn, to share knowledge." "Fear can be useful," Cooper replied. "It keeps people honest, and it protects the innocent." Miller nodded. "The galaxy is changing. Species that have been preyed upon now see a defender. Species that have preyed on others now see a challenger. And the Council sees a system they can't control," added Lisa Ward, who had been quiet until now. "They've maintained order through rules and procedures. We've shown them another way." "What happens next?" Rodriguez asked. Miller looked out the window at the stars. "We continue as we began. We offer friendship, knowledge, trade. We contribute to the Council. But we also make it clear that humans protect what's ours, and we help those who can't protect themselves." "And if the Council tries to stop us?" Cooper asked. Miller's expression hardened for a moment, showing the predator beneath the diplomat. "They won't. They're beginning to understand what we are. And deep down, they're relieved. The galaxy has been peaceful on the surface, but underneath, the weak have always suffered. Now there's a species willing to bare its teeth for those who can't." Outside the embassy, Centralist Station continued its endless rotation. Thousands of alien beings went about their lives, but conversations everywhere had the same focus: humans. The predators who claimed to want peace, the hunters who offered protection, the dangerous new species that might change everything. In the Council chamber, High Counselor Dexra sat alone, thinking. The old order was ending. A new one was beginning. And for the first time in centuries, predators walked the halls of power again, but predators who had somehow learned to channel their hunting instincts toward creation rather than destruction. "Perhaps," Dexra said to the empty room, "this is exactly what the galaxy needs." 1 year passed since the Proxima incident. The galaxy had changed. Humanity had not been expelled from the Galactic Council. Instead, they had become its most influential members, though not in ways anyone had expected. John Miller walked through the halls of Centralist Station. Aliens moved aside to let him pass. Some nodded respectfully. Others watched cautiously. All of them recognized him now. He entered the human embassy, where Alan Rodriguez was speaking to a group of alien representatives. The science officer had become the head of a new initiative called Understanding Humanity. Humans aren't unique in our capacity for violence, Rodriguez explained to the group. We're unique in how we've channeled it. We built civilizations not despite being predators, but because of it. Our drive to hunt became our drive to explore. Our territorial instincts became our passion for protecting the innocent. The aliens listened carefully, taking notes. Once they had feared human nature. Now they studied it. Miller smiled and continued. To his office. Lisa Ward was waiting for him there. The Krell have signed the agreement, she said without preamble. They'll stop all raids on Council worlds. Willingly? Miller asked, though he already knew the answer. As willingly as predators ever agree to anything, Ward replied. They respect strength. They fear consequences. It's enough. Miller nodded. In the years since humans had revealed their true nature, piracy throughout Council space had dropped to its lowest levels in history. Species that had preyed on weaker civilizations retreated to their borders, suddenly cautious of attracting human attention. Any word from the Vexler Corporation investigation? Miller asked. The Council courts found them guilty last week. Their assets are being seized. Their leadership is facing imprisonment. Ward's smile was sharp. The Council's justice moves slowly, but it does move. Miller looked out his window at the vast station. And the new defense initiative? Earth has established a rapid response force, Ward said. 20 ships stationed throughout Council space. They operate independently of Council bureaucracy. When an attack happens, they respond immediately. And the Council approved this? Miller asked, though again, he knew the answer. Not officially, Ward admitted, but they don't object. The smaller worlds demanded it. And the larger ones, well, they've seen what happens when they oppose human protection. Miller remembered the confrontation 3 months earlier. The Vosgian Empire, one of the largest in the Council, had objected to human military vessels in their sector. Captain Cooper had been sent to negotiate. The meeting had been brief. No threats were made. No voices were raised. But the Vosgians had withdrawn. Their objections immediately afterward. Miller's communication panel chimed. High Counselor Dexra was calling. Counselor Miller, Dexra greeted him. The human had been appointed to the Council's inner circle 6 months ago. The session begins in 1 hour. Will you attend? Of course, Miller replied. The trade agreement with the Peleron cluster is important. Yes, Dexra agreed. Though I suspect they're more interested in your protection than your goods. Miller smiled. Protection and trade go hand in hand. Always have, even on Earth. After Dexra ended the call, Ward looked at Miller. He's afraid of us. Yes, Miller agreed. But he also respects us. And he needs us. The galaxy was never as peaceful as the Council pretended. Now it's actually becoming so. Later that day, Miller sat in the Great Council chamber. Representatives from all 17 original species were present, plus humans and 3 new species that had joined in recent months. As the Council discussed trade routes and resource sharing, Miller observed how the dynamics had shifted. The old power blocks had reorganized themselves. Now, most aligned with human interests. Not out of friendship, but out of practicality. Humans protected their allies. After the session, Miller met with Captain Cooper, who had just returned from patrol near the Galactic Rim. How are the borders? He asked as they walked through the station's garden level. Quiet, Cooper replied. The Drellari are nervous about our presence, but they're not causing trouble. They understand us better than most, Miller said. They recognized what we were from the beginning. Cooper nodded. Predators recognize predators. They reached a viewpoint overlooking the station's central hub. Thousands of beings from dozens of species moved below them. Commerce, culture, and cooperation flourished under the watchful eyes of the humans. Sometimes I wonder if we did the right thing, Cooper said quietly. revealing ourselves so completely. We didn't have a choice, Miller replied. The attack on Proxima forced our hand. But perhaps it was for the best. Living behind a mask is exhausting. Some still think we deceived them, Cooper noted. We did, in a way, Miller admitted. We showed them what they wanted to see, peaceful explorers and friendly diplomats. We are those things, but we're more. As they spoke, a group of small alien children passed by on a school trip. They pointed excitedly at the humans and whispered among themselves. Their teacher, a tall Athosian, nodded respectfully to Miller and Cooper. They teach about us in schools now, Miller said after the group had passed. About Earth's history, our wars and our peace, our art and our weapons. What do they say? Cooper asked. That we're complex, that we're dangerous, that we're necessary. Later that evening, a reception was held in the station's grand hall. Representatives from all council species attended. Miller noticed how the room naturally organized itself. Herbivore species gathered near humans, seeking proximity to their protectors. Predator species kept their distance, watching. Lisa Ward joined Miller, holding a drink. To playing at peace, she said quietly, raising her glass. Miller shook his head. Not playing, choosing. Every day, every human chooses peace over our instincts. That's not deception. It's the most honest thing about us. Ward considered this, then nodded. The galaxy has finally understood us then. Yes, Miller agreed. They see us clearly now. Not as conquerors or savages, but as guardians with the teeth and claws to enforce the peace we genuinely desire. Outside the windows of the grand hall, stars stretched into infinity. Among them, human ships patrolled, their weapons quiet but ready. On countless worlds, beings looked to the skies with new hope. The predators who had joined their community had changed everything. The galaxy had finally understood humanity's place in the cosmic order, not as meek herbivores pretending to be strong, not as bloodthirsty killers pretending to be civilized, but as apex predators who had mastered themselves, offering genuine peace and terrible consequences in equal measure. And in that understanding, a new era had begun.